see how miserable I can get myself for this. The movie is just so miserable. I forgot how much. Oh, it's good.
Let's
Yeah, we'll save it for the pod.
Save it for the pod.
Maybe that's why I'm tired, because I watched that.
Yeah,
today.
it would take you. Yeah,
And I took a freaking nap after. Anyway,
that's all.
let's go.
All right. Well, so gentlemen, how did early oil miners know they struck oil?
They just did.
Sure. Yeah, they just did.
No, when everything they owned was suddenly on fire.
Well,
Yeah,
that'll definitely happen.
accurate.
Yep.
Or if their son goes deaf and or has brain damage.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of things can happen.
All right.
Welcome to Screen Time Pod.
Welcome back to Screen Time Pod.
Go ahead, Blake. You do that.
No, I
intro.
ain't doing it.
Yeah, you.
All right. Hey, welcome back to Screen Time Film, a podcast where we discuss director's filmography in chronological order. Currently, P.T. Anderson is who we're focusing on, and today we are discussing There Will Be Blood.
P.T. Anderson.
Yeah, P.T. Anderson. Yeah,
Or PTA. Or Paul Thomas Anderson.
Okay.
yeah, well, yeah.
I guess I've never heard P.T.
No?
Anderson
Yeah.
like as a something for him.
Yeah.
I've just always heard the full name.
Mm.
Huh.
So we have a sinner with us here who wishes for salvation. Blake, are you a sinner?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, my name is Josh, and my co-host here is Jared.
Josh, I drink your milkshake.
Perfect. And we have our reoccurring guest on the pod, Blake.
I'm Blake, and I'm going to come in your house while you're sleeping, and I'm going to cut your throat.
All right.
Hey, that's a real intense one.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're
Actually,
either drinking your milkshake or going to cut your throat.
Okay, how
It's a lot
about
that
this? Don't be
happens.
thick in front of me, Josh.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so There Will Be Blood came out in 2007, rated R, 2 hours and 38 minutes. A story of a family, religion, hatred, oil, and madness, focusing on a turn-of-the-century prospector in the early days of the business. We'll note that was a 5-year gap between this and the last film.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, so, yeah, he took a break. For sure.
I think this was a long shoot.
It probably
Also,
was,
though,
but
yeah.
but I think also he probably took a break in there because
What was the last one?
Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that. Anyway.
Oh, really? Oh. All right, so we've got again Paul Thomas Anderson directing, writers Paul Thomas Anderson and Upton Sinclair.
Okay, this is the first one.
First one, he's got someone else to help on the writing, and then also this was based on a book.
What are you laughing at?
Yeah, I want Jared to guess the name. What's the name of the book?
What's the name of the book?
Yeah, what's the name of the book? Upton Sinclair. They based it on this movie.
I didn't know they based it on
Oil. With an exclamation
Oh,
point.
yeah, I did know that. Yep. I do remember the oil X-Men. Yeah.
Sorry, Josh.
All right. Cinematographer Robert Elswit.
Yeah.
Been with them since the beginning. We got a new composer, Johnny Greenwood.
Yes. Do you know who this is, Josh?
I didn't look it up. No.
The guitarist of Radiohead.
Really?
Yeah.
He was the composer. Oh, that's awesome.
I know. I didn't realize that's who, like, I knew the name and then I had to look it up. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
All
Yeah.
right. Production costs. What do we think?
I wrote down something, but you want to go
You got a
first,
guess?
Blake?
You got a guess?
I always overshoot it.
I do too.
15 million.
15 million. Okay. What do you think?
I have down 50.
Oh, wow.
Million.
Okay. So he's got 50. You got 15. Blake is closer.
Whoa, really?
25.
That's
which is impressive
very good. Yes.
That is good.
for as long as the movie is. But also, as I start thinking about it, there's not a lot of big names in this film.
I heard Daniel Day-Lewis works for nothing.
Does
Well,
it really?
No.
No, but I mean, like, there's not like a deep bench of a lot of big names, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
it's just like
No.
a handful
Yeah.
of known actors. The rest of it's kind of people that I wasn't familiar
That's
with.
true because even Paul Dano, this was pretty early.
Very early.
Yeah, for him. Yeah. Because he's pretty young in this. So, yeah, I guess
He
it's
might
really
have just
just
had Little
Dano.
Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be like around the same
And
time.
Yeah,
then,
probably.
and then, like, I mean, there maybe weren't many. I mean, there's a lot of practical locations probably because they're shooting in like
Texas.
desert somewhere. Yeah,
It
is
was in Texas.
that where they shot the location?
Yep.
Okay.
Same town as No Country for Old Men.
Oh, okay.
That's what I
At
was
the
going to
same time.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted to see if Josh knew about this. It'll probably be in trivia anyways.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
no.
really cool like crossover between those two movies. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of similarities too.
Mm-hmm. And tone and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I could see this movie being a Cormac McCarthy book
Oh yeah. For sure.
or
Yeah.
based on it
Yeah.
because just the tone.
I mean, I think No Country for Old Men is a better movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
I mean, from my perspective.
Okay.
What are your overall thoughts?
But before we get there, awards. The Oscar.
Yes.
So it was nominated for Best Motion Picture. Won Best Performance by an Actor in Lead Role by Daniel Day-Lewis. Nominated for Best Achievement in Directing. Nominee for Best Writing Adapted Screenplay, because this was a book. So that's why I get that, because that's for some of these. Won Best Achievement in Cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
Also nominated for Best Editing. Nominated for Art Direction. And nominated for Sound Editing.
Dang. Okay.
So, yeah.
2 wins though.
Yeah, one for the
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis, and then
Cinematography.
Cinematography.
Yeah,
Nice.
those
Okay.
are the 2 wins. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I knew it was a lot of awards anyway, but 2
So
wins.
did they come out? Did they come out the same year? No.
Yeah, No Country I think was 07.
It was close.
Because I would
Yeah.
argue that cinematography and that's better too.
Was that
Yes.
was it your boy?
Yeah, it was Deakins, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't
I'm
know.
pretty
I don't
sure.
remember because he was in some of the Coen
I'm pretty
movies,
sure
but
he
I don't
was.
remember for that one or not. If that was Deakins or not,
I'm pretty sure.
that'd be interesting. But it is crazy those movies going head
It
to
is
head for
2007,
Oscars.
so
yeah,
they were the same year.
it's a good movie year.
Mm.
Wonder what
I don't
else
know.
would have been that year.
I wonder. Now I'm wondering if Javier Bardem got like a supporting,
Yeah,
because like he
Deakins.
he had to have gotten something
yeah,
for that. I
was
don't
such
remember
a
when we
strong-
did that pod. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
He probably won supporting actor or something.
that been yeah
Something.
deserved.
yeah.
But yeah, it was
Friendo.
Deakins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, yeah, the cinematography is really good in that. But now we've gone through what 4 PT movies, and Robert, what's his name? Did all of them. He's done all of them.
Ellsworth.
Yeah, so far. So
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's still
No,
good in
he's-
this too.
yeah, he's-
I'm not saying this is bad, but yeah, if I had to pick between the two.
yeah,
Personally. Yeah, so speaking of the talent, I mean, I put down Daniel Day-Lewis, Paul Dano, and then Ciarán Hinds.
that is really the main 3.
Those are the 3 people I recognize.
That's about it. Apparently, Paul F. Tompkins was in this for a second. I don't know if you know. He's
Really?
a comedian. I didn't even spot him. He's
Me either.
he's on the IMDb. I don't know. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, overall thoughts.
You should go first because you've never seen this,
Right. This was my first time watching this film.
And I've seen it a lot. I'm assuming you've probably watched this many times too.
I don't know how many times I've seen it.
Okay.
2 or 3.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go first then. I enjoyed it, but did feel long. The pacing seemed a little slow at times, and I feel like there's stuff you could cut and trim, and it would have still been the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my.
That's it.
I mean, I mean that's
Okay.
yeah. I think the performances were. I mean, like again, Daniel Day-Lewis, his performances are good. Performance, not plural.
Yeah. You go, Blake.
So this movie falls in a weird spot for me. So came out when I graduated,
Yeah.
so 2007, and I did a thing back in the day where I would just go buy something physical media wise, and I just wouldn't even know what it was. So I was like looking at the movies that were out. I think at like Target or something. I was like, oh, There Will Be Blood. That sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it home and I just watched it without knowing what it was or anything about it. And yeah, I'm watching it again now with like, how long has it been? How many years is it? Just 17. It's like, yeah, over a decade later, it's like, still holds up to me. But I couldn't remember anything from it.
Really?
Not really. It all came back to me, but I remembered how tragic it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's a great film and probably one of my favorite that I've seen by Paul Thomas Anderson.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is one of my favorites of his. And I think this movie is a masterpiece, but I guess I'm higher on it than you get. Well, I know, I mean, Blake, I know you really
no,
like it.
I hold it in high regard.
Yeah.
Especially, I watched it today and I was like, oh yeah, I really remember liking this.
Yeah.
It was my first exposure to Daniel Day-Lewis, who I didn't even know
Right.
who he was. Like I'd never seen Gangs of New York or anything like that. You
Yeah.
know, that would have been the big one that he had been in at that point. But yeah.
Yeah, it's I think also every time I watch it, it's rewarding rewatching it because there's so many details. Like just watching this past week even, I found like more details in it and more little things that I just never noticed before. And I don't know how many times I've seen this movie altogether, but there's just more stuff every time I watch it. And I love it. I mean, also it is similar, like the comparisons we were talking about, No Country for Old Men. I love that movie too. I don't know if I like this one better than that one. They're both very high for me. So I think I would still say this is more, because I don't think I would say No Country is a masterpiece, but I still love it.
I would, but
Okay.
I think they both are. But
Yeah.
I think you can say that.
Yeah. This one's just, I don't know. There's something about it. I mean, I'll get into it with certain notes, but specifically Daniel Day-Lewis is, as Daniel Plainview is just like, it's so much. I mean, again, we already know he's like one of the best actors, but his performance in this is like so great that it's just like, he literally is like the cliche of like, he disappears to where it's like, oh, this is literally just an oil man, con man guy, like completely. And it's just, there's so much stuff he does with his body and face too in this that I pick up on. It's just like, it's crazy. Just his performance in this is just incredible.
There was a point at the beginning, I can't remember where it was, but you can only see his eyeball and he's looking. And I think it was like after like that dude, it was after the first dude dies when HW.
Yeah.
And he sees him and you can only see like a part of his eye or something. He's like looking at him and I was like, there's more acting chops in that one eyeball than some movies I've seen.
Yeah.
Because like you can just like, he's evoking so much like emotion just with one eye.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm
crazy.
just like, good Lord,
Yep.
what a pro.
Dude, he's the epitome of our method actors. What
Oh
we
my
were talking
God,
about,
yeah.
we were like,
Yes.
you don't need to do that much, but he has to apparently for some reason.
To the point that he had to retire
Yeah, he's coming out of retirement though.
for his son. It's his son's
that-
movie.
Oh,
That's
I was
coming
wondering
out.
what it was.
Yeah,
Okay,
his son's directing a movie and he's going to be in it.
nice. Okay,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, that is cool. I didn't know that either.
Well,
So you still liked it, but it
I liked it. I just, it felt long.
too long. Yeah,
I felt like so to me, like, I don't disagree. His performance was amazing,
yeah,
but one person's performance doesn't make a movie.
Sure.
I think Paul Dano is incredible in it too.
Yeah, Paul Dano's
He
good.
is, yeah.
But there's more to me. There's more to a movie, like the structure, the pacing, all these other things that go into making a movie good. And I think some of that stuff is lacking in this.
And I think one of the things that Paul Thomas Anderson has a problem with is pacing. For a lot of other movies I've seen of
Yeah.
his,
Yeah, I mean-
like they're like really long, especially you get to Inherent Vice a little bit later here.
But we
that-
just did
there's a-
Magnolia.
Magnolia was
3 hours.
Really,
yeah.
have I seen? See, I don't know if I've seen that one either.
I thought it was great though. Like I was into it even though it was 3 hours. But
So
so
also one that I felt long to me.
yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I like his way
His
he does
style of
movies.
the
Yeah,
pacing.
I don't know.
I mean, I like a long meandering thing, but there's, I don't know, there's probably a few minutes of like him eating a steak barehanded that could have been cut out at the end to like end it.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. but yeah, I mean, but overall, the overall general story arc of his character, I think, is good with the Paul Dano character and
Yeah.
the way they cross over. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You got two con men. Story of two con men.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into a little more specifics of the story and things we liked and like whatever. Or I guess you guys, there's nothing you didn't like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I pretty much like everything in this movie. It's just cool though, like you talked about how the rivalry grows between them. Or I guess that's not quite the best word to use, but like how they clash and how they butt heads more and more as the movie goes on.
It's a very good, there's very good character development
Yeah.
in the movie. Like with all your main guys, including the kid, HW, you know.
Dude, yeah,
Another-
even the kid, HW.
Another great kid actor that did nothing else.
Oh,
in
really?
The
Did you look
Witcher.
him up?
Yeah, nothing. This is his only credit.
Yeah, he was great.
I mean, he doesn't talk much, but I mean, he did good.
Yeah, a lot of time he just has to stand there while,
Especially once he
He's
gets his
like-
eardrums blown out.
dude. That's a good point with you said they got nominated for
Sound
sound. Yeah,
or sound editing, one or the other.
that's such a good because I don't have a note about that, but I just
Yeah, when they cut the
amazing.
sound
Yeah, how
out.
they do that to
Yeah.
get to your perspective of
Yeah.
what's going on with HW in that moment.
So do like the opening sequence and scene, like seeing like his determination there, like really sets that of like. I mean, of course, it gets extreme later, where it's like obviously he doesn't even care about his kid as much as the goals of winning. But yeah, like you really see that in that climbing out of the well.
I love how quiet it is.
Yeah.
It's very
There's
like
no-
first like
There's
5
no
or 6
dialogue
minutes.
for-
there's no-
there's no one from to talk to because he's just doing his thing.
Yeah,
but
but-
Yeah.
yeah.
And the first like thing you hear is him screaming in pain when he
Yeah.
falls back down. But yeah, I didn't remember him lighting dynamite and then climbing out. That's some old timey
Yep.
eat steak with your hands kind of.
Yep.
I'm just gonna keep bringing it up.
Dude, no, it is funny though because it's like you're right. It is that ending scene. He does. They shoot him so much doing that. Like that scene is very long. I mean, I love it, but it's you're right. It is a lot of him just and and taking forever to respond to him. Yeah,
Drinking half a bottle of
dude,
corn liquor,
just
I'm assuming.
absolutely chugging it. Yeah,
Nah, he was just hydrating.
yeah.
And then, so if I missed it in the beginning, like using the kid as like a ploy for building trust, but like they don't say in the beginning like he's adopted, right? Like I didn't miss something.
I mean, yeah, you did. I mean, that guy that dies at the beginning,
That was
that's his kid.
Oh,
Yeah, the guy died.
Yeah, I guess
that's
I
why
just
he
didn't
grabs
pick
him.
up on it enough, but
And
like
from-
later on, it's just like his son, and so I just
Yeah, that
assumed it was-
baby that's at the beginning, that's
Yes.
HW.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then
So he just
so,
he just
so
takes
when he
him.
tells him at the end that he's like, you're adopted, like I was like, oh, I didn't remember that. But of course I only watched it once. So you probably pick up on the second time a little more. But
Yes.
now that you say that, like, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember
Yeah.
seeing it. But like, you're so focused on what other things that are happening that I didn't even like put
Right.
that together the first time watching.
Yeah.
But either way, it's still a good tactic for kind of building trust. Like someone that has a kid and is like kind of way more trustworthy than some random stranger dude.
Yeah, he just keeps reiterating, he's a family man
Yep.
and to all these people he's selling to. Yeah.
He's created this image
Yep.
of being a father and just like this oil man that totes his kid around with him, and just has like a way to soften the locals.
It's also something I picked up on this time is whether he's having a speech to these people, like selling something to people or just having a conversation with someone else, he mentions HW and saying my son HW so many times in the movie that watching it this time I was thinking about, I'm like, I think he's like trying to convince himself. Like there's an extra layer to it where he's not just trying to sell everyone else that, hey, this is my son.
He's trying
But
to
he's
talk
also
him.
like, he's trying to convince himself that like, this is my son, but also like, it's okay that like I'm doing this to him, like
Yeah,
that's what I thought about this time when I was watching it.
for sure.
Cause he says it so much throughout the movie.
Apparently he completely improvised the speech in Little Boston, the second one, when
That's awesome.
he's trying to convince him to get that plot of land.
Yeah.
Like, I was a completely improvised speech.
Nice. All of his speeches are great. Like that, those are some of the moments that like,
Well, he's got
it's just really captivating that you like, like, oh, this definitely would work on people, and it does.
he's got that great con man sales,
Yes.
snake oil
He
salesman
does.
voice that he gets on. Like, what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another aspect too, is just the voice he does is just perfect for this. Like it's just, it's great.
Of its time.
Yep.
So then we get this Paul of the twins, Paul Sunday, coming to him and saying, "Hey, my family's got some land." So it took me a second to realize they were different people. That was a little confusing.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because you almost think that he just changed his name when he met him, and then
No, and then eventually I realized, but like at first I was like, "Wait, is this the same guy?" I was like, I thought, because then he's there, and then he's like almost at the dinner table, and he's almost like starting to derail it. And I was like, wait a minute, you're the one that, in my head, like I'm watching him like, wait, you're the one that asked him to come here. And then later realizing, oh, it's a different person. Like it's not the same.
I thought the same thing when I first watched this movie. So like, yeah, it is confusing at first because Paul's literally in only one scene where he's telling him selling him the information.
I think at one point they did have another guy cast, and then Paul Dano they did the identical twin thing. And I think that was on purpose because honestly, if you're not paying attention enough to it, it just makes his character seem a little bit more psychotic, because you'd just be like, someone might get confused and just be like, oh, this dude's off the chain. He's like talking about Paul who doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like it just,
I saw a I guess not a rumor, but something that people think with this movie is that Eli is schizophrenic and there is no Paul. Like that is a theory with this movie.
that's kind of the angle I was thinking,
exactly.
but
Yeah,
I don't think that's
no, I don't think so. But I guess you could, because I mean, I don't know. I don't believe that, but that is a theory, a pretty popular theory. But that dinner table scene, where, well, Daniel Plainview's talking to Mr. Sunday, the dad. I don't remember.
You're a stupid man, Abel.
Dude, Abel, yes. Okay, so, and then he offers to buy his house and the land for $3,700. And I love the scene because it's the first moment where you first see Eli. Well, you already mentioned like say something to him, but this is where he first gets skeptical of him at all. Like even this early on, you can see him questioning Daniel Plainview, and it's just a really great moment. So you can see it this early on because we're not that far into the movie at this point, and you see him already.
What takes one to know one?
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, all the way to the end, and then he makes some.
Because especially at the end whenever he starts talking about like the radio and like all this stuff and being in debt and like everything falling apart because like people have fallen away from him.
Yep.
Yeah, from the start he was just full of it. So yeah.
Yeah, and then kind of one of the next major points is when then the explosion at the oil well and and HW goes deaf and everything catches on fire. And
I think that shot is the one they're talking about. So I guess they were shooting in the same town, No Country for Old Men in this one. And there was a whole thing that I guess they had to shut production down for No Country for Old Men because of the smoke clouds
Oh, that's crazy.
from that scene
Yeah.
and everything. Because there's
So
just
it's
like
really that
obstructed-
close.
Yeah, there.
Wow.
yeah, because you're burning that much oil, it's gonna.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
There's some really great shots in that scene, though, especially at the near the end when it's just burning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's more cinematography, but the shot of the burning and then the silhouettes of everybody,
Yes.
like just
Mhm.
it's
It's amazing.
really
Yeah, and when he's looking at the other guy and he says something about like, why are you so sad?
Oh, you talking about when he's sitting there with like there's oil on his face?
Yep.
I can't remember what he says.
Yeah, he says something about because the one other guy was like looks all gloom and he's like, why? He's
Oh yeah, Karen's character.
yeah.
He
I forget his
says-
name. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have it up here. But anyway, yeah, and he's Fletcher.
yeah. I can't remember exactly what
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but there's something along the lines like, why are you,
he's.
why are you looking down?
Yeah, he's like, this is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
He's like this.
Because also in that moment you also see like Daniel's just like it's he runs off with his son, but then he comes back and stares and just kind of like basically sees dollar signs
Oh yeah.
because like all that burning is just oil and he just hit a major vein.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and he's more worried about that
while his son's laying,
Yeah,
he's probably scared to death he can't hear a dang thing.
Yeah, and I know. He even says like, "Don't leave me," and then he just runs out. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that scene was. It was crazy because he really sees. I feel like it's like kind of the like tipping point or the kind of like the start of his like.
Or even musically, I mean that's where you get that first chaotic
Yes.
bit of music.
Well, I know you're talking about,
It
but
hits
I mean,
a couple times.
But I mean, even the very beginning, it's not as chaotic, but it's still very atonal sounding. Yeah, even in the intro. But yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, which is really cool.
Really peaks right there, though. I feel
It does, and I'm very curious. When we get to score, what you guys think of the score, because it's very unique. But anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah, so then I was trying to remember because then his brother Henry shows up, but it's about the same time as he sends his son away. I can't remember which one happened first. He sends the son off.
that's after. Oh no, his son's there at the beginning.
Yeah, that's right, because he burns
he
the
catches
house.
it on
yeah.
fire.
Yeah, he doesn't take him or leave him on the train yet. Yeah.
Well, his son reads that journal and realizes.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to.
Signal.
He's acting out, trying to like.
Yeah, Warren. Yeah.
And then he gets sent
that is the
away
tipping
after
point
that.
for that is because when he burns the house down, and then he runs and grabs him, like that's where he decides like, all right, I need to
Send
get
him
rid
off.
of him.
Yeah.
or get rid of this kid. So, and then the train scene shortly after that.
Probably the best thing that happened to HW.
Dude,
Best and worst.
there is a lot of good payoffs too, because you have that, and then which we'll talk about like later when he comes back when he's grown up, and just that too. Like there's so many good moments of, I guess not necessarily payoff, but just some good call and response to certain plot points in the movie.
So he's first excited. I guess he seems to really bring his brother in.
Yeah, he does.
It seems like he's, and it's kind of like, and I think he sees it as like another, instead of, because the HW kind of isn't really there for him as his buddy. And so then he kind of seems to switch that energy over to his brother, quote unquote.
Well, in the first interaction when he meets him, and he asks him a bunch of questions about family and different things, and the way he responds, like, because he's skeptical right away, or Daniel is, but he asks him different questions, and then he's just like, okay, and then he starts to warm up to him, and then bring him in, like you said, which is why the beach scene is so good, which is my next note whenever we get there, why that scene is so good. But I don't know if you have anything else before that.
Well, I was just going to say it was interesting to see them, like, then they made their progression of doing the surveying to get where the line was going to go. And of course they stop and talk to that one dude that's not there. Stop for the one dude that he kind of ignored prior.
The Baldells.
Yeah,
I can't remember
that one. That was a
that old
holdout that he
guy.
doesn't
Yeah.
own. The,
Oh yes, yeah.
on the land rights too. But anyway, so they, and then they make it to the beach, and because that's basically where they're pumping it to, I guess. Like they're gonna get it down there so they can get
Directly into the ocean.
Right. Right. To get it, I guess they'll.
The money's in polluting the ocean.
Yeah.
I guess they'll collect it somewhere. I don't know. We never see that right down at like a.
No, we don't see the very end of it.
Like they don't see the fruits of that labor,
I
but
mean, they didn't have Dawn dish soap back then. Yeah.
Right off the.
Get it off the. Yep.
Yeah. So, but then that scene is pretty good when. What is it? He asks him something.
It's a very specific question.
But it's like there's something more casual he says first that catches him like, and then he's like, and then he asks him a very direct question.
You see it because you see it in his eyes, and just like, because he doesn't say anything, because Daniel says the line. It's about like taking these girls to the dance or something. And it's obviously a thing that he did with his brother back in the day. That was like a really big, I guess, memory for both of them. And he kind of laughs and says like, oh yeah, because he talks about like, yeah, we should go, get some women or something. And he says, oh, take him to the dance, right? And he kind of laughs, but then he looks at him because the way he responds to it is like, that's the moment, because then you see it in his eyes. That's kind of the casual thing he says first.
Right, that's what I mean. Like and then
he asks about the specific location and the specific spot.
Yep.
And then he does it again.
Right. I love the subtle one, that first one, because it's just like he's his quote unquote brother is like so like chill and comfortable with him in that moment.
At that point they've spent around enough time together that he's letting his guard down and and then slips up and doesn't react properly to
falls apart. Yeah, a little bit.
Henry is his name. I was blanking on it for a second. But yeah, Henry. Yeah.
Man, it's a
dude in the shot of him in the water, like just staring like evilly at him, was so good too. Afterwards, it's so funny that like him just staring at him is funny.
I just know that Henry's death sticks with me because of the reality of him, the way he shot him, and like,
oh dude, it's brutal. Yeah.
Really, truly, like realistic. Like he didn't just like. It was like, it was it was acted very realistically.
Yeah,
just very shocking. But
yeah. So he kills him.
Well, he kills him, but like it's more so like the way, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it wasn't like some overacted like bang, and then like he's like,
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like he had freaking convulsed a little bit. He got a little, like he was like you're like, did he shoot the ground?
Yeah.
'Cause he was like-
he's kind of like
It kind of
there,
looks like
Yeah.
he does. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because there would be yeah.
Go into it, Blake. You can do your medical.
I mean, he shot
corner.
him in the back of the head, so I mean, there would be a little bit of a delay before you'd actually
Yes.
die
Yeah.
or like black out like that. So
Yes,
they did
he's
that
like-
well.
Yes.
That's what
They
I'm
did.
saying. Good death scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then then he gets found by the guy he was looking for, and that guy's like, "You gotta get saved, and I'll let you use my land."
Dude. Yeah.
You sinner.
Yep.
Go
It's
to
even
ch-
better
go to
because
church.
he's so hungover at that point.
Yeah.
Because he was just so like, and then he has to go immediately to Eli's church.
And
I also love the progression of like the church building, right? Like it like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
gets like he builds a newer, like it adds addition, like it's like getting bigger and more elaborate as the
Yeah, because the first thing
Congregation,
it's a very small building
half,
when he's
like half falling down.
yep when he's when he's exercising the demon out of the old lady, and then
Her
later
hands, her arthritis.
he's
the
act-
arthritis. Yep,
the demon of arthritis.
dude. There's so many. I don't know. Maybe I just
That's actually what I do for a living. I don't use medicine.
yeah. That's one
I
way to do it.
exercise the demon of arthritis and
That's right.
cancer,
Hey, if only it could work like that. That would be nice.
heart disease.
Uh,
Some would say it used to.
It used to, yeah. But there's so many different meme points in this movie. Like
Yeah.
that's one, like him yelling "Get out" and walking to the front of the church. There's a few later as well, but yeah. But then he talks to, even right after that, earlier on, he talks about like, oh, the church is flourishing. He's like, we're going to start
Yeah.
renovating. So that's it is cool. To your point, seeing the progression of the church being built up.
Also, you can also, if you can kind of track the money that Daniel inadvertently ends up giving into this church
Yes.
continues to grow as this place gets bigger.
Yep.
Right, because as he makes the economy better around, and
Yeah.
those people are giving money to this church.
And no, but he like, what was it? He gives. There's a few different times where there's money given from Daniel to.
Or does he actually give it? Because he always keeps coming back to, "You owe me this money." Like the Paul Dano character, he comes and he's like,
Well, there was a okay, so maybe I'm misthinking, but no, there's the $5,000 that he gives
Yes.
after.
that he doesn't actually ever give him, right? Because even at the end,
Oh yeah,
he's like,
That's the point
yeah,
that
yeah,
he's like-
yeah.
"I'll give it to you if you, yeah."
Yeah, you're right.
That's yes.
So I don't think he
remember now,
actually
yeah.
gives them any money ever. I think it's just the fact that he's making.
He's
everyone-
always trying to get money out of them.
and the fact that just the oil being there is,
Right.
is raising the economy around there, and then all the other people are going to the church and giving money.
Yes.
So that's how the church.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of how I perceive.
I
it.
mean, he's indirectly.
You're definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah, and then just again back to like the moment of him like getting him to say all the things he says before he baptizes them is such a power move on the Paul Dano's character. of just-
Eli, yeah.
yeah,
This scene is amazing.
yeah.
This scene's so good.
And then of course we get the flip of it at the end.
Oh yeah.
But this one though I love because this is probably the biggest, at least for me, like meme moment that I see all the time is him yelling, "I abandoned my boy, I abandoned my child." Like I've just seen that so much.
Abandon my boy.
Yeah, and it's such a great scene, but it's also just good because people use it as a meme so much. But the scene itself is amazing, and to your point, yeah, like the flip and the power between them. But he's kind of, I mean, Daniel's just giving in because he's just doing what he has to do.
Right, to get the money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember if this is before or after he open hand assaults Eli and he covers him in mud.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
it's
be
after. Right?
Is that after?
I think this is after because I think he did that already to him, and like he's like, "I'll bury you in the ground" or whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's like when he comes out to him when it was before this.
Because I just started laughing after that scene. Whenever it goes from him in the mud to the dinner table,
Oh, yeah, needs to
and then he's
pace.
still covered in mud. And that's
Yeah.
when he said that's when he says, "You're a stupid man, Abel."
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like yelling at his dad about
Yeah.
selling the land and everything.
Well, and then like takes him down the ground just like Daniel just did to him. He's now
Oh, yeah.
doing to his
Yeah.
father. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was before then.
Before the baptism.
Also,
and
it
all
is
that.
really funny. Daniel doing it to Eli, like him but like the way he's like slapping around in the mud too is just funny. Like the way he does it, because he's just like really toying and messing with him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because that's why he slaps him, kind of, but he can't do it at that level when he's in
Yeah.
baptized. Like he kind of gives him like some, but like it's not
Yeah.
because it's in front of the whole congregation. He can't.
Yeah, he's
like-
not going to sit there and beat the crap
But
out of
the scene, yeah, where he talks about, I abandoned my boy, and also saying, give me the blood, Lord. But then like the whole time also, it's crazy because it's a trajectory he keeps going throughout the film, because the whole time still though, he's just thinking about this dang pipeline that he keeps talking about.
God dang pipeline,
Yeah.
Bobby. Eli,
That's what it is.
that pumps directly into the Pacific Ocean.
Yes.
Specific. I can't.
The Pacific Ocean.
Pacific.
Specific.
The other thing that we kind of like jumped over a little bit, but the scenes with him and the, I guess, Standard Oil guys, and they there's also like the other moment where it's like you're obviously choosing money and power over it, because they're like, oh, we'll give you $1 million for this, and he hadn't even finished the pipeline. It was like
Yep.
before that, and he's like, well, what am I going to do then?
Yeah.
And they're like, the guy's like, spend time with your kid, and he's like,
Nope.
Yeah, that's not his. Yeah.
Nope. He's addicted to control. He wants to control. He wants to be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, once he has his kid back from the deaf school, and then they run into him at the restaurant, they're having a fancy meal.
Yes.
And the guys from Standard Oil come in, and then it was so funny. Like he was talking, but he put the table napkin over his face, so his son couldn't read his mouth.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's crazy.
That's a great detail that
Yeah.
I did not
And that's-
notice the first time watching this movie.
And that bugged me, because if the kid can do that, then the end scene where everything he says is being interpreted back
Right.
to HW
Yeah.
That's a
by
good
sign
point. That's a good
language.
point. Like he should have.
Like that was definitely a big miss.
Mm.
Because like, you know what I mean? There's the sign language
All
interpretation.
the other time, it seems like he can't
that he
understand.
can-
Yeah.
But like he puts the over his face, so he's not.
You're picking up on what
Yeah.
he's saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good point.
Yeah,
But
got him,
Not a masterpiece anymore.
ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
and then then we get the big time jump.
Yeah, what is it like? 15,
Ni-
10, 15,
1927.
1920s, because it starts in 1897 or something, and then 1927. 's
Yeah,
where
we get
end.
different points like 1901. Yeah, there's a few different.
Yeah, but it's a
Timestamps,
30. It's
yeah.
a 30-year gap in between the beginning and the
Yeah.
end, I think.
Mm.
So
Yeah, we see Daniel now living in a mansion.
Yep,
We
dude,
see all of
He's got a bowling alley and everything.
shooting shooting stuff in his hallway.
Yes.
dude.
I've always wanted to be
Rich enough to just
rich and crazy, where I can just be.
just
And taking forever to eat steak with your hands.
I always think of that, and I always think of like the Dark Knight whenever he's like shooting the crossbow inside of his mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a rich guy thing.
Yeah.
life goals.
It is funny that like even back in
You know what? I don't have to be rich to do this.
No. It's funny
You
that
go home tonight. You're just like,
yeah, just do it.
Nah, I have to be older.
gotta be
I
mature.
need to have expensive things to destroy,
Okay.
like
The-
pottery and.
Even in 1927, it is funny that like, because you always hear like people like if you have a huge big house and you're rich, like like why is the bowling alley like always a thing that people want to put in their house? And it's like
Bowling was a big thing.
he
man.
did, but he was doing that even back then. Yeah,
I guess.
1927. Obviously, it's the pivotal spot at the end, but
It's a pivotal sign of wealth. Is
I guess a bowling alley in your house. Yeah,
I'm There is one thing I could do tonight, and that's eat well done steak with my hands.
You can do that.
That you
You don't have to be rich for
something
that.
oh no, no.
well, you drink my milkshake.
And I did.
There you go.
I drank my milkshake.
Yep. You can do that, and then anytime Paula asks you a question, you just chew and just take forever to respond. Just chew on your steak, and then
So if I have a straw,
and it reaches all the way across. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. And then
it's much more wet than mine.
Yes, it is.
He's definitely hydrated during that scene. Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah. So we get you get the final scene with his son.
Yeah, HW coming back.
HW coming back as an adult.
This is a great scene.
We
Very
did get a little
good.
montage. He married the girl from
Mary, which is
it was Paul's sister. Right?
Yep,
Something
because he
about
says,
marrying him.
because he talks about, he's like, oh, we're brothers now.
Yeah.
At the end, he keeps saying that. Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of nice that you kind of see his son actually turn out as a better person.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's kind of despite his terrible father.
Like I said, best thing that happened to him was getting sent away.
Dude, the best is the final line he says to him. He says, I'm glad there's none of me in you.
Yes.
Or none
Yeah.
of you.
None of you and me.
None of you and me. Yeah.
Yep.
And then that's like, right
At
as
that
he
point,
gets up.
he's basically like, well, I have no obligation to you. Gives
You know what-
the
you know-
finger and goes.
But one thing I would think is interesting is because way early in the movie, I don't remember if it's like a lawyer or someone like that, says something to HW as a kid about like, hey, like make sure, he gives you a cut. Or he said there's this passing
Oh
line.
yeah, it was a fellow oilman.
He was like, make
Like
sure,
that they're
he's like,
friendly
you're
with.
doing
He's like,
all this with him. Make sure you're getting a
make
cut
sure
of
you
it.
get yours. Yeah.
Yes, and it's interesting that he never, at the end, this final scene, he never asks him for his cut because you think that might be part of the conversation. But he mentions he's just starting his own business in Mexico. But anyway, I just think that's an interesting detail. But I understand why he doesn't want anything to do with him.
Nope.
No part of it.
Nope.
Yeah, and then we get the big scene with Paul and coming back and
Eli.
about
Paul
to say.
Dano,
Yeah.
Eli. And it's good. So he goes full circle and basically gets him to say a bunch of things because he and then he's like, "There's no oil there. I don't really need that."
Yes.
So
Dude,
good.
that is the yeah. After all that, and then he's like,
it's called drainage. Something like that.
it is traded.
Let me educate you. He says something real smart like
and then
that.
the metaphor with the milkshake and yes,
It is
Yep.
drainage because he says drainage.
Yep.
Dude,
It's so good.
though, yeah, all the stuff he does in that scene is just. I mean, also at that point, he's just like. You
Crazy.
see him just crazy in the house anyways, so he's just.
yeah,
Yeah.
crazy old rich man,
Yep.
all alone in a big house.
Yep.
Except for Jeeves, whoever that guy was.
Butler.
And I think the last line is just perfect
Yeah,
before it cuts to black.
I agree. I wanted to ask Josh
yeah.
what he thinks of that, like ending on the line of him saying, "I'm finished." Like,
Yeah.
what do you think he meant by that, or why they choose to end the movie on that?
I mean, because obviously it had more to do with beating Eli
Yep.
than the wealth, because like that he, I guess, achieved earlier than that. So I think it was like it finally came full circle. He got even with what he did to him at the baptism thing, however many years before.
Yeah.
And that was what just was still driving him.
Yeah, that was the final
Yeah.
thing. It makes sense. Like he accomplished everything else he wanted to do.
I think it
So
also,
he just beat him and kill him.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think also he was just like, I'm finished in general.
Yes.
Like, he killed a man. Like, he's probably
He's-
finished.
He's killed other men.
Yeah, but still, I'm finished.
It's not the first man he killed.
No.
And back then, you probably could get away with it pretty easily, especially if you're wealthy as he was.
Very easily. We were talking about when we did the Boogie Nights pod, Josh, you were saying, you were like, it's pretty easy to do a crime back then. Like,
Well,
he's
think
like,
of all
if
the
you,
serial killers.
if you want, yes, that too. He's like, if you wanted to steal some money from a shop,
I need to watch that movie.
do it then, because it's way harder now.
Yeah, it was just because about that.
It was that scene. Well, okay, we shouldn't say anything because you haven't seen it before.
No,
haven't seen
it's on
Boogie
my
Nights?
it's on my list.
Dude.
Oh, you never watched it? Okay. Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other last notes about?
No,
before we
that's
get into
it.
all
I
the
was
cinematography stuff and.
well. I was just wondering if you liked the way it ends.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I like.
because that is, at least from people that I've talked to that have seen it, that seems to be the most controversial part from people that I've interacted with about this movie. Some people either love or hate the very ending, like the way it ends.
I could see where someone would maybe
Yeah.
not like it, but no, I liked. I thought that was good.
Cool.
Like my biggest issue was just like pacing and
Sure. Yeah.
like it just again. I don't know. I just
It is long. Yeah.
it's like yeah. It's a thing that I guess maybe the nature of what I do, and I'm always making these short things and like telling a story in 30 seconds, that when I see people, like, I feel like it's just laziness. Like, it's like, you could have done this and
Well,
still got
in a
the story
more
told.
concise manner.
Yeah. And it didn't need to be this long.
So the way I'm hearing this is you're one of those nerds that watch the theatrical version of Lord of the Rings.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I don't. Actually.
I'm just kidding. I know.
I watched the extended
know.
versions.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, that's different.
Yeah. It is
That,
different.
those are actually
Ad-
there's a good
additional
reason. There's a
content, yeah.
good reason for
I
that.
would question
no, there's-
anyone that's chooses to only watch the theatrical version.
There's actually something wrong with you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, unless you just don't know about the extended editions, which
Or don't have access
You
to
just-
them for some reason.
come on.
You have no idea what joy
I don't
is,
know.
like, apparently, if
Oh,
you
do
don't
they-
watch it.
I guess on the streaming service, what do they give you? I don't even know.
I think you get the choice. I think they have both.
I'd say the standard now is the extended edition. Like that's like
I just don't know what to put on streaming. So like for
Well, if
your
you-
average person, they would just go to watch it and they would just be like, oh, let me look it
well,
up.
yeah, they're showing the theatrical edition on like
probably
TV
are,
and
yeah.
things. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I had both on DVD. I own both digitally. You know, 4K HDR versions now.
Oh, so you have money.
Bowling alley's next in your
He's got,
house.
you got bowling alley money.
Oh my.
Get some drainage into the ocean.
Oh, it's gonna start polluting the side of this
Yeah.
mountain.
Yeah. The Potomac River, whatever's like Antietam Creek,
Oil
whatever's there.
Baron Josh Umar.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the cinematography a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think the landscape is a big part of it.
Just like No Country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
And-
interesting they're both filmed in the same spot, but
I agreed with the Oscar win until we put together that No Country for Old Men came out the same year. Now I don't.
yeah. I mean, again, I think there's this. It's not that this is bad cinematography. I just think No Country's better.
There was yeah, it was better.
Yeah.
It was definitely outdone, but
But I'm trying to remember now because I know when we went through the Coen Brothers,
Yeah.
where was that in line with? Because I remember there was a shift, and then because remember I was like down on most of the cinematography until they switched and started working with Deakins.
Yeah. That might have been the first one with Deakins.
Was it?
Because
I'm just curious if maybe that was because a lot of times, especially in the Academy,
no, a lot of theirs you were saying like felt older than what they.
yeah, because I
were,
just didn't
like,
didn't
the
care for
filming.
like the like deep shadow, high contrast,
Yeah.
cinematography. Anyway, I'm just trying to think because a lot of times with the way they kind of, unless something's so outstanding, they'll kind of like, it takes you a few years of doing a good job before they even award something to you, right? they won't always just do it right away. And so I'm wondering if that was like, it was probably nominated. If we looked it up,
Yeah.
I'm sure it still probably was nominated, but like it might have been his first nom, and they were just like, okay, we'll see how you do. Whereas,
Yeah, this guy's been nominated
Yeah,
more
yeah.
times or something.
sometimes they play that game.
Has your other boy, Greg Fraser, has he won yet? He had to have
yes.
for something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I mean, probably for
for
Dune.
Rogue. I think for Rogue One,
Or maybe Rogue One also, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Blake's mind was blown when we covered Vice, the movie, because I was like, I told him who the cinematographer was.
And they just started listing all. It was
Yeah.
just the freaking murderer's row
It
of
was.
movies, and I'm like, oh boy.
It is funny though that
I
was
just
the
haven't
pod.
paid, until I started doing this. Like I didn't pay attention to any of
Yeah,
that.
but you were like, oh, this.
But I've
You're
always
like, this
paid
movie
attention to
looks good.
cinematography, but you know
Yeah.
the name, like the names are just that's easy
Yeah.
to just skip
Yeah.
over. But now every time I watch the credits, I'm like looking at that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because there most of them have, not all, just like not all directors, but most of them have a distinct style and
For
look
sure.
that you'll see repeated if you start paying attention, just like a director.
Right.
Well,
yeah. You can start picking it out before even seeing the name. You're like, oh, this is like that. I can't, not to that extent. I know you were talking about because different movies we've done of Deacons. You said you hit him like immediately. You can always tell when it's him, especially.
yeah, a lot of times there was definitely ones where I was picking up. I was like this because it was, who was it? It was either Coen Brothers or the
He did some stuff with
yeah, he did several movies with what's his name? The one of the guys.
because he did Jarhead.
Mhm. And that was the Revolutionary
One-
Road. Did that as
Oh,
well.
he didn't do the Bond ones though.
He did.
Did he do the Bond ones
Yeah, he
also?
did Skyfall. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, well, Craig Fraser probably going to do the.
Dude, I mean, as long as he does Doom Messiah,
Yeah.
you know, because he did Doom 1 and 2 with Denis Villeneuve. He
Yeah.
has to.
He might end up doing the Bond movie.
I mean,
But actually, I think he did. I think he did the second. He did the second. Who's the director? Why are we? The guy who did Skyfall.
I know I'm blanking on
Why-
it because we
The director,
Sam Mendes.
Sam
Sam
Mendes.
Mendes. There we
Yeah,
go.
Sam
Yeah,
Mendes.
we covered him.
I think the second film Sam Mendes did, or one of those later.
Yeah.
I think he was the cinematographer one.
Oh, maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't
Or
remember.
maybe it was that last one. That the movie's not that good, but
Right.
But I think he, yeah. So I think he actually did. Of course, if it's Villeneuve, it's gonna be different. But
Yes.
you saw that, right?
What?
Denis Villeneuve's gonna do the James Bond.
Yeah, I did see that, and the news that came along with it that I'm assuming is a rumor about Tom Holland.
That's
No.
James Bond.
Yeah,
No, I didn't see that.
Definitely
I saw
not.
that, and I was like, no, please God, no.
That's
Definitely not.
No.
But I think
He's too small.
the big,
Yeah,
no,
he's a
the
short
big,
king. He's like 5'4". You
the
know?
big true one that has been going around is Aaron Taylor Johnson. That one,
Yeah, I've seen that.
I'm behind that one.
I
seen
think that's number one right now. It
Yeah.
seems
For a while, it was Henry Cavill as well.
Either one.
I still think it should be Henry Cavill.
I think so too, but I don't know.
He's too nerdy though. He wants to do Witcher and Warhammer and stuff like
Warhammer.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
But he could do it, man.
he could do it. He already
Just-
did The Man from
he could
Uncle, which is basically a
Bring
Bond
the
movie.
freaking arm reload into the James Bond.
I know. That'd be sick.
When are we doing? When are y'all doing Mission Impossible? Just do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, see, the thing is that it's all, you know, like if we cover,
We did 2 James Bond movies because we did Sam Mendes.
yeah, but like we don't cover a
So, I mean-
franchise. We got to cover director, and that's like,
You could do 4 through.
Yeah, because you get Christopher McQuarrie.
Oh,
Yeah,
true,
he did.
yeah.
He did them all from 4 on. I think.
Yeah. 5-1.
5-1.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because Brad Bird did 4.
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And J.J. Abrams did 3.
did 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I want cinematography. I just want to say any shot when the oil is spewing out everywhere just looks sick. Like it looks so good.
You want to know what they used?
Yeah, what did they
Yeah.
use?
What do they use?
Per PTA,
Mhm.
it was, quote, the stuff they put in milkshakes at McDonald's. That's in the
Interesting.
trivia on IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it was like some kind of a chocolate sauce or something.
Okay.
That makes sense. I mean,
PTA obsessed with milkshakes.
You heard it.
That's where really it started there, and then when he
then he wrote the final scene.
the final
And then
scene.
he wrote the final scene. It was actually improvised after they were all swimming in milkshake juice.
And he's like, milkshakes.
Yeah.
I drink your milkshake.
I thought you were going to say that Daniel Day-Lewis became the oil because he stayed in character. He became the oil himself and took on that role. Since that's what he does. That's how they got the oil delivered.
Darkest, most immersive character yet. Fossil fuels.
Would I send you the one? It was the Witch sequel. I sent you
Black Phillip Origins.
Black Phillip Origin, and it was Daniel Day-Lewis playing
And
Black
Black
Phillip in a Witch Origin. I saw it on Instagram. I sent it to Blake.
Oh man. All right, so I liked how the composition
Yes.
really they shot it so there's a lot of isolating shots so that Daniel looks alone.
Yep.
A lot of the framing.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the oil, fire, night sequence, amazing visually.
Very.
Yes, that is one of the, I think, the best.
That's a
shots of the movie.
that's a standout.
Well, it's I put it so like horrifying, scary, but also beautiful at the same time.
Yes.
It's,
Also, like the shot of them when they were surveying and there was trees all of a sudden.
Yeah,
right.
That
Because they
was-
got close to, and you're like, oh, they're somewhere else because they're getting closer
Yeah.
to like water and away from the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of jarring there. You're right, because you're just used to
It's such just a blah
yeah
landscape.
barren area.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole movie. Yeah. There's a shot I think isn't going to the scene of him at Eli's church, and when Daniel's up there kneeling, and there's like a bright cross just above his head glowing with the sun coming through. Really cool shot that I didn't notice until this time through, I think. But yeah, really cool framing, and then it's the sun coming through.
And then also like a lot of the framing in the end in the mansion that kind of really kind of showed madness. There's a lot of like just the way little bit different angles and
Oh, okay.
also very alone, like a big empty space is kind of big space where he's by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But also like a little chaotic, not so symmetrical.
Very dark.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of more
Lot of shadows.
contrast shadows. Yeah.
Yep. And the shot of him in his office, it felt like Ebenezer Scrooge. Like
Yeah, it really
him
did, yeah.
and just kind of,
Yep.
and then him signing the checks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, they really, they were able to nail that man truly alone at this
Yep.
point, except for Jeeves.
Jeeves.
All of his yes men seem to have,
Yeah. They're still out there working for him
they're somewhere.
because
but
he's still making money. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, now he's just a rich man in a mansion.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. That's about all we got on that. You guys have anything more for cinematography?
Nope.
On to the music and score.
Yeah. Johnny Greenwood,
Mm-hmm.
guitarist of Radiohead. He actually does, because we've had the same guy for the other PTA movies so
Yeah.
far, but then this guy Johnny Greenwood actually does a lot of them.
Okay.
Moving forward. But yeah, I wanted to hear what you guys think of it, because it's very unique and not a typical sounding score that you would hear in this kind of movie at all.
No, it's not period appropriate, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but it's also not so jarring that it feels out of place.
Yeah.
There's
I think for some people it would, but not to me. Like, I think it fits perfectly, but like, because it feels like it's like a horror score at times.
Right.
with
Yes.
the
I did.
dissonance of the strings and a lot of atonal.
It was funny because there was a couple times where I was like, is this? Because it sounded like that, and I was like, this. It kind of reminded me of some of the scenes in Heart 8 that we were playing back,
Yeah.
and to find that clip. But so then I was thinking that it maybe is kind of feeling like that, but then it's a different composer anyway. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't. But like, I thought it worked. It wasn't. There was nothing I was like, ooh, that's weird, or yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have no complaints. And when you have no complaints, I mean, it means the score was effective, I think. It was like the big spots that I remember it being, or the loud spots where there's a lot of percussion.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be get your attention, and it does. And
It does.
and everything else just kind of just fits the mood, and feels good.
It does feel good,
Feels real good.
even though it makes you feel it does the right thing about building tension.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So then, overall thoughts on what the story is about, the message. Any thoughts?
Do you want to go? Blake, do you have anything? Themes and message?
I mean, it's basically just a story about greed, I think, and power, and what these things can do to you when you let them get too much of a hold on your personality and life. And and I think that also it shows like how much these things can like ruin relationships with everyone around you. And yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, mine is very similar to that. Like it's definitely about like the beginning of capitalism and the industrial age, and what men will do to succeed and prosper, and what greed does to a man for personal gain. I mean, that's essentially the whole movie.
So what I wrote, you might recognize this.
Okay.
I said, this is literally about a man gaining the whole world and yet losing his soul.
Yes. Very true.
Men would rather build a pipeline than go to therapy.
Exactly.
That's the 2020 take.
Yeah.
He just needed therapy.
Yeah.
Need something.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder how he would, if he didn't have the bowling alley, how would he kill Eli?
Open hands. He would have slapped him to death.
Oh, like he was doing earlier.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That steak looked pretty hard. He probably could have.
That steak looked rough.
What if he would have like shoved it down his throat,
I could see that happening too.
drowned
actually.
him in alcohol or something? Like, I don't know.
Yep.
All right, so let's do a little trivia. So first, the kid that plays H.W.
Yep.
was not an actor. He was an elementary student near the film's West Texas shooting location. On the radio program Fresh Air with Terry Gross, P.T. Anderson told Gross that when the production was trying to convince Dylan's mother to allow Dylan to be in the movie, his mother wanted to figure out who Day Lewis was, so she rented a copy of Gangs of New York.
Nice.
She panicked at the idea of her son spending time with this man she saw in that movie, so the There Will Be Blood casting department rushed to her a copy of The Age of Innocence,
There you go.
in which
Better
Day Lewis
choice.
plays a civilized gentleman.
Yes.
Wow.
And then, of course, they were shooting in Marfa, Texas, which is also where No Country for Old Men was also filming.
So I know you already mentioned about them having to like pause because of the smoke, but like, did they actually share anything production wise since they were so close to each other? That's what I'm wondering. If like
It just said the
any
crew,
crossover?
They talking about the crew tested the pyrotechnic effects for the oil,
yeah,
causing an enormous billowing of smoke, which shot during introducing into the shot where Ethan and Joel Coen were filming, and they caused them to delay the filming, as you mentioned earlier. And then it says both this film and No Country for Old Men would eventually become leading contenders at the Academy Awards. Yeah. There it is about the milkshakes from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Chocolate milkshakes from McDonald's.
Yeah, they said the stuff,
yeah.
chocolate syrup. That'd been a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Been playing like a lot of Death Stranding, so all this tar,
There's a lot of that. Yep.
yeah, made me think some BTs.
So the infamous "I drink your milkshake" is in part a real quote. P.T. Anderson found the metaphor in a congressive transcript from the 1920s, in which Secretary of the Interior Albert Fall was convicted of accepting bribes for oil drilling rights to various lands. According to Anderson, I think it was Albert Fall who was asked to describe drainage before Congress. And his way of describing it was, if you have a milkshake and I have a milkshake, my straw reaches across the room.
That's amazing.
So that did come before. So then he must have found that, and then he's like, "Oh, milkshake. That's McDonald's
Yeah.
milkshakes. That's what we'll use."
Yep, whole thing. It's crazy. So, is There Will Be Blood a milkshake movie? Is it an ice cream movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In a way.
yeah.
Every Wednesday night during editing,
That's,
P.T. Anderson and company would have just steak, straight vodka for dinner to keep in the mentality of Daniel Plainview.
dude, I want to go out to get steak and barehand it and see what people do.
Yeah.
I know what they'll do, but I think it'll be funny.
Who would be funny?
Eat it like a hamburger, just like,
Yeah. I don't see any problem
yeah, you do.
with that.
No, you do.
They had considered painting the whole bowling alley white to give it a Kubrick symmetry, but yet
That would look very cool.
they kept it the original state because it was going to be given away for the ownership after filming. Because was that a Greystone Mansion where they built it?
Okay.
Could have did some some wild blood splatter kind of stuff.
So this
Oh, yeah.
was the most profitable film of P.T. Anderson as of 2012, because it made 76 million worldwide, and with the 25 million budget.
Nice. I thought when we did Boogie Nights, I thought that did really well.
Not that well, from a percentage, like it might have made more money than that, but then if the budget was higher,
Yeah.
so they reused a special 43 millimeter lens off of a vintage 1910 camera that P.T. Anderson has, and it was modified to use on the film. So it was a really low scan shift colors at corners. Only certain shots of the film use this lens. For example, a shot of Plainview sleeping in the train with an infant. So like some of the
Oh,
earlier stuff. That's why I had made a different look.
that's cool.
Wow. They said the director and crew were pretty loose about where scenes would take place. This sometimes meant filming scenes 3 or 4 different times in different locations and evaluating results. That's an interesting approach.
That is.
One reason probably took a while.
I was about to say, it sounds like a very time consuming approach.
That was my main thing is I just want to know how long.
Didn't see anything
shoot-
about
yeah,
that.
I didn't see anything about the look and see. Yeah.
All right. Any final last?
Well, because what would you
Thoughts?
say? Punch Drunk Love was 02.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, like he took a break also probably, but I'm wondering how long this whole production was for this.
Principal photography was 3 months.
That's
Yeah, so they filmed for 3 months.
that
It's
doesn't
actually
seem that long at all. No. Huh.
So what was he doing? Nothing.
I mean, again, take a break and
Yeah.
then
Take a break.
and
I
then
mean,
maybe. I mean, sometimes it takes a while. I mean, this because they did
Right,
base
get
off
it
a
going.
book.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it just not be having something you inspire. I mean, like you do some stuff and then you're like, okay, because sometimes you're like already know the next thing.
You're gonna
And you're
do.
like, hey, well, that's a cool thing. I'm going to work on that when I get this done, this and this. And then sometimes it's like you wrapped up something and then you don't really have something in the pipeline. And then you try your hand at a few scripts, nothing, because he obviously writes a bunch of stuff himself. He's writing some things, nothing's really grabbing him. And then maybe stumbles across his book and then starts doing some research and then decides, hey, maybe this could work. And
a lot of these directors do music videos too, though.
true.
Like,
So he might have veered off.
And he does with Haim especially. I know he's done like all their music videos, and then same with Fincher. Like that's how Fincher started. So
Yeah, so maybe
there was a period, I'm
did
sure
something
he
else,
was-
yeah,
yeah.
for a little bit creatively instead of another feature
Yeah.
film too.
So maybe he didn't have anything in the pipeline.
That's
so
right.
he made something about a pipeline.
there it is.
Famous last words.
We just end the pod there.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good movie. Watch it.
I still think it's a masterpiece, but Blake, you think it is?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's a great film.
Okay.
It's up there for me. It's definitely it's definitely one of his best movie that I've seen. But again, a lot of blind spots.
Yeah.
Mhm. Have you seen Hard Eight?
That was his first one.
It's the first one. I really liked it. It's still pretty high on my list.
It is, yeah.
Well,
And Boogie Nights is good too.
I know exactly where to go for all of them.
And I mean Magnolia. I mean all of them. Even
I mean,
Punch Drunk Love. I didn't like that one quite as much, but it still was.
So an interesting film. And then I think Magnolia's same thing. I didn't.
Yeah, I
think liked
was
it as
higher
much.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that as much as she did.
But he's another one. Well, of not many directors that I think have a pretty flawless run. Just like we just were talking about Villeneuve. How he is literally. I mean, same with Tarantino. Like, there's not that many directors that have just had a solid run of like all their movies are good. Like, even some big ones like Spielberg. There's some bad
Oh
Spielberg
yeah, we've
movies.
done
you
so
know?
many movies.
But he's done a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, like E.T.
E.T. famously his worst movie.
It is.
No, you're wrong.
I hate it.
Why?
It's garbage.
I mean, I was scared of it when I was little.
I'm here to start a fight.
Okay.
Dude, when he comes out, like when you first see him in the cornfield, that scared me as a kid, seeing
bush.
E.T. Yeah,
And that's why I don't like it.
it's scary. Yeah,
It scared me.
yeah, me too.
Honestly, I haven't watched it since. So.
Just, yeah, I remember it being
haven't seen
good, but I have not watched it in so long that I can't comment. So
Garbage.
I probably disagree, but
Yeah,
I
no, I
can't
think it's
strongly
still-
say anything because
It's been a long time, but I can confidently say.
But you're
it's-
also saying you're basing off of your childhood watch of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Scared me.
Yeah.
But Mac and me didn't. And you know what?
What a fool.
You know what I have watched as an adult? Mac and me.
Yeah.
But not E.T.
All right.
That's a
Who
random.
directed that? We'll have to
I know.
Oh,
add them
man.
to the
Look it
list.
That's a movie.
It sure is.
Oh man. Just the scene at the end of the van explosion. Just
I can't really recall that movie, but
Yes, yeah.
I'll show you guys after. It's amazing.
All right. Well, again, next week we will be discussing The Master.
yes.
Talking about that. Thanks for joining us, Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you thinking if you've watched The Master?
I've never seen that.
Okay.
I was just thinking I think that's a sex movie, isn't it?
No,
I don't know.
it's not.
But isn't it? It's
Isn't it like a
I mean, not directly. It's. I mean, I don't
Like,
know.
isn't-
I haven't
I haven't
seen
seen
I
it.
thought it
either.
was about like,
I believe it's the birth of Scientology.
really?
I think that's part of it, but I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Which is funny that Tom Cruise is not in that movie, but he was in a different PTA
Yeah.
movie. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I think
Yeah, this is
Scientology.
Magnolia, wasn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's in
That was the
Magnolia.
one.
Dude,
yeah.
he's
Philip
amazing.
Seymour
in that.
Hoffman is
Yes.
he the lead in The Master?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember trailers for it, but I never saw it.
Okay. Amy
But also-
Adams is in it.
But also,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was not in this film. It was the first one he was in.
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't put him in there somewhere.
Philip
That
Seymour
would
Hoffman.
make this even better.
He was supposed to play Daniel. He wanted him.
No
to play,
way.
He wanted him to play Daniel.
Mm.
That would have been interesting. But
Yeah.
I mean, we've already talked about how he can just do any kind of role. Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of the best.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that is what that's about. Anyway,
Is it? Was that right? I don't know. Is it about Scientology?
Loosely, yeah.
Loosely. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for watching and listening.
Yeah. Thanks, Blake.
If you, thanks for being here.
Third chair, unofficial.
And if you have any thoughts or comments and want to tell us we're wrong or right, feel free to email us at feedback@screentimepod.com or leave a comment or DM.
I'm sure people will fight about this movie. A lot of people are passionate about this.
If you'd like, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and or follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all Screen Time Pod. If you'd like to follow each of us on Instagram, I'm at Jay Youngbar.
I'm at Jared Youngbar.
I'm finished.